we continue with approximation in this short video. So we looked at how to approximate or to round off to a stated number of decimal points. We also looked at rounding off to the nearest tenth or tens, hundreds, and the likes. Finally, we're going to learn how to round off to a stated number of significant figures. So here are some rules to keep in mind. First, all non-zero digits are significant. So we are learning how to differentiate between a significant and a non-significant figure. So all non-zero digits are significant. So anything that's not a zero is a significant figure. So for example, if you have been given a number like this, 345.678, it has 6 significant figures because it has 6 numbers, or it has 6 non-zero digits. Then the second rule is zeros between non-zeros are significant. So if there are zeros between non-zero numbers, they are also significant. So for example, this one, of course we can see 2 significant figures, but the zeros between the 2 numbers are also significant. So these are 6 significant figures. Then this is now where it gets a little bit complicated, which you have to pay attention here. Leading zeros are never significant. So leading zeros are zeros in front of numbers. So regardless of whatever situation, leading zeros, they are never significant. So if you have been given this number, this has one significant figure, which is just this one. All these are not significant. Then 4, trailing zeros are significant only if a decimal point is present. So trailing zeros are zeros after numbers, like on the behind numbers, or which are following numbers, or on the right side of numbers. So zeros, such kind of zeros are significant only if there is a decimal point somewhere in the number. So for example, this one has 3 trailing zeros. Okay, since there is no any point here, any visible point, not that point which we know, so this has only 2 significant figures. The same is true for this one. It has 1 significant figure because there is no point. But if you look at this, there is a point here, and these are trailing zeros, so they are counted as significant. So this has 5 significant figures. Then this one also 100.0, there's a point, so all these 3 are significant. So this one has 4 significant figures. I wrote 3 is supposed to be 4 because 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 significant figures. So now, how do we approximate using how do we approximate to a stated number of significant figures? So here are some tips. Number 1, count the number of significant figures required starting from the left. So start counting the number of significant figures that you're going to be encountering starting from the left. 2, round off to the nearest to the rightmost digit. So you round off just like we did before by looking at the number to the right side of the number you want to round off. 3rd, write everything not counted as zeros, but be careful with this point, because if the digits constituting significant figures are not on the right of the decimal point, then discard the decimal point. Okay, so if the digits that are making up significant figures are not on the right of the decimal point, they are on the left, then you have to discard the decimal point. It becomes useless because these other the decimal point and all the zeros, if there are zeros on the left, are going to be discarded. So to understand better all those points, you can't just you can't understand just by reading them. Let's take a look at examples. So round off 300.06 collected to 1 significant figure, 4 significant supposed to be significant figure, not decimal places, supposed to be 4 significant figures, and C, 2 significant figures. So here is the solution. So how many significant figures? We start counting starting from the left. We have this significant figure, and all these are significant because they are between non-zero digits. So but want to round off to this one. So we look at this number here, which is 0. 0 is less than 5, so we don't do anything, we leave it the way it is. Okay, but all these should be turned to 0. And if they are turned to 0, you have 300.00. This point will make the trailing zeros to be significant, meaning that this number is going to still have the same number of significant figures, that is 5. There will be 0 here, so it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you discard the point so that you have one significant figure. So we are interested in this, you are going to have this. So this is one significant figure because there's no point here, so these trailing zeros are not significant. But if we had put point, then we could have 3 significant figures because of the point. We got to be 300.06 to 4 significant figures. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have to round off this. So we round off this. We use this to round off. So 6 is above 5. So we get 1. We put here. So it will be 300.1, which is 4 significant figures. Finally, we look at 2 significant figures. So here it will be tricky, as you're going to see. So we're talking about first significant figure, second significant figure. So how do we tackle this one? Because rounding this will give us 0, because this one is less than 5, so there's nothing to take here. When we do that, we're going to have 3, 0. But of course, we can't just write 3, 0. We shouldn't change the meaning of the number. This is 300. So somewhere, when someone sees it, even if it's rounded, someone should tell that this has a value near to 300. So when we have 0 here, it will become difficult. And if we discard the point, we just put 0 here, it becomes 300, because this is 0, it should remain. We're going to have one significant figure. And if we have just 30 like 30, we're going to distort the meaning of the number, and also it's going to still have one significant figure. They want 2 significant figures. So there is a way. So I've said a bit of things, but for you to wrap your heads around them, let me just do a bit of demonstration. So 300 has one significant figure. Okay, so we're interested in rounding off this one, but if we round this one off this one, we won't add any one here, and this one should be turned into 0. If it's 0, it should remain with 0, which means we're going to have 300, but it has one significant figure. Again, 30 is a different number, it's not near to 300. Also, it has one significant figure. So the best is to write in terms of scientific notation. That's the only way you can attain this this demand. You write in terms of scientific notation or standard form. So if you see, this is another variation. I forget about this, but I was just trying to show that 300 point, if we show the point, it has 3 significant figures. So we use standard form. So what we do is write 30 times 10 to the power 1. 30 times 10 to the power 1. Okay, so 30 times 10 to the power 1, of course, can be written like this. So where is the power 1 coming from? So if you look at this number, what we have done was we have taken the point here. So moving to the left once is positive, so it's times 10 to the power 1. Then here you can put a point so that it has 2 significant figures, 3 and 0. Okay, so the base is to take the point here so that it has 2 significant figures, then you write like that. So this marks this part of scientific notation, of significant figures and approximating using significant figures. The last part is going to look at measurements. Happy